Hi, it's Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K rock and metal channel. And today we're going to do something a little bit different on the channel. So, some people out there will know of this artist who does this thing called 10-second songs. Great vocalist. Likes to do musical compilations or songs in the styles of other artists. And he put out a video which I thought was something we should just check out, which is 10 songs done in the style of Fear Factory. So we're going to check out each snippet of a song, and I think you get about 30 seconds of each song done in a Fear Factory style, and we're going to stop after each one and have a chat about whether we think it was a great one. Would we want to hear the whole song done in that style? From start to finish. So yeah, without further ado, let's go check it out.
All guitar tones in this video is brought to you by JST and their new plugin ToneForge Disruptor.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love? Whoa, whoa,
Okay, so the first track that came up is "What Is Love, Baby, Don't Hurt Me." First initial quick thoughts: Fear Factory style. Is this a version of a song that you would have liked to have heard from start to finish, done in the Fear Factory style, Andy?
I'm not a big fan of these metal versions of pop songs, but that one actually works quite well. It's only really the double kick drums that sort of indicate and throw away that it's or give away, sorry, that it's Fear Factory. It could have just been like a metal version of the Hadaway track. But yeah, I'd listen to that. That's all right.
Yeah. For me, there are certain times it's always interesting if you can take a pop song and convert it and it sounds great as a metal song. For me, it felt like luster, that one. I wouldn't have, that would be a skip for me because I was like, nah. You know the original, and I'm like, I'm not a big fan of the original. I've got no problem with it, but I'm not a fan of it. I listened to that and I was like, there's not enough. It was like they're trying to make it sound Fear Factory, but not really having any of the core elements of what makes Fear Factory Fear Factory. They've just kind of, as you said, like the little blast beat bits and trying to make it with a bit of the old Burton C. Bell vocal on it, which didn't kind of come across. It felt too weak for me. Kirk?
To me, it does sound like Fear Factory precisely because Burton C. Bell has got such a distinctive voice, of which you're very critical, Dave. You don't rate him as a live performer, do you?
No, he sucks.
You said that many times, exactly. I enjoyed that. It is that he did really solidify that good cop, bad cop vocal technique. And I can see why. By the way, this guy, I have subscribed to him a couple of years ago. I've not watched any of his videos for last year. Really entertaining. His vocal range is incredible, this guy. But yeah, I would certainly want to listen to a full version of that because I think it was quite inventive how he did the harmonizing, whoa, from the original. He did that in his own style, which to me it probably did sound like Burton C. Bell. Again, it's that clean switch, isn't it? Because Burton C. Bell takes Godflesh and Killing Joke and those types of vocals and makes them a bit more tuneful, but you still have that unbridled aggression as well. So yeah, this that one I actually did enjoy.
I wonder, we should have seen this before we interviewed Dino. We could have asked him, why didn't they get this guy in to apply for the old Fear Factory interview?
This guy can do anything. He can even do that Mariah Carey whistle technique because I've seen all the videos.
Got a great voice.
He's a good rapper as well. Yeah, he just phenomenal.
Right, second track on. Another one, Bites the Dust by Queen. Let's go.
walks wearily down the street with his brain pulled way down low. Ain't no sound but the sound of his feet. Machine guns ready to go. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? I'm hanging on the edge of your side. Out of the doorway, the bullets rip to the sound of the beat. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust.
Yay, Queen's another one bites the dust. Andy, would you want to hear a whole version of that song?
Yeah, it's frightening, wasn't it, at the beginning? That is, you know, the Fear Factory element certainly comes across more on that little snippet. But yeah, again, yeah, I would like to hear the full version of
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's nailed it, isn't he? To say the frightening aggression, then almost split second switch to clean harmonic vocals. Yeah, talented bloke, this fella.
Mm. I so feel that my life has not got any meaning now until I hear a full version of that song. I need to hear that. I really need to see that song from start to finish, a full track done in Fear Factory, because that sounded so good. Kirk?
It's the aggression is so masculine, isn't it, with Fear Factory, and this guy has replicated that. But again, the switch to the clean vocals, that is Burton C. Bell down to a T, the way he's done that. Like when you listen to Self Bias Resistor, or even the song Demanufacture, or Shock, track number 1 from Obsolete. Yeah, I think if the game here was guess which band he's done it in the style of, I think we would be able to guess Fear Factory here, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. And you said it's quite frightening as well. Just the level of aggression at the beginning gets you really pumped up, doesn't it?
Okay, track 3. It Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana.
Load up our guns, bring your friends, it's fun to lose and to pretend. Hello, 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 hello. With the lights out, it's so dangerous. Here we are now, entertain us.
Okay, Nirvana cover. Andy?
Less Fear Factory, but still equally as frightening. Not quite as appealing because can't stand the original.
Okay.
Who was that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the original. I think what's an interesting story about the original is Burton C. Bell was in the video for Nirvana. So he went to the thing, and apparently the whole thing where the whole crowd went nuts was never planned. It was never scripted. It just happened, and he was part of the crowd when in the video for it. Sorry, a little side note there, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't really vibe on me. It's I wasn't really vibing on that one. I would be quite happy not to have to listen to a whole track of that. Kirk?
Some people do actually call Fear Factory new metal, don't they? And when you hear that, that reminds you that there were elements where they were going down that route. Now, Dave and I, we've interviewed Dino, and we know he was pushing back, wasn't he? He was resistant to that. But yeah, that out of the 3 we've heard so far, that was the least impressive. But I don't know where you could go with that song. It is arguably the most important rock song of the last 30 years, isn't it? The impact that it's had. But quite innocuous for me, that one.
Yeah. Okay, somebody that I used to know. I don't even know who the singer or who the band is. It is. I know it's a pop song though, so that could be quite interesting. I have heard it. Let's do it.
Now and then I think of when we were together, like when you said you felt so happy you could die. But you didn't have to cut me off. Make it like it never happened, and that we weren't working. You said I don't need to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know.
So somebody that I used to know, Andy, would you want to hear a full version of that song?
I would, because I really like the original. I can't think of the artist. It's a solo guy. I can't think of it's a strange. He's giving himself a strange moniker, but I can't think what it is off the top of my head. But I do love that track. And the Fear Factory element has come back on this one. Like yourself, Kirk, the last one was forgettable. But this I'd like to hear the full version. This one definitely as well. That was really good. Again, the switch from the aggressive verse to the clean chorus is Burton C. Bell all day long, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was that high pitched synth note that they have in the background, which is very Fear Factory. When that came in, I'm like, yeah, this sounds like this is the Digimortal and Obsolete. I'm hearing a few different styles in there, or different albums worth of Fear Factory. I was surprised on the chorus bit where he didn't go really heavy at the end of it, because I thought that would have been a real Burton C. Bell where he goes clean, 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 and then that last bit, so that I like really kind of bark it out at the end. I thought that's where he might have gone, but Yeah, I probably would want to hear a full version of it just to see what other changes they did on it. Kirk?
Dave, can you imagine how much Burton C. Bell would struggle with that opening part live?
Yeah.
He's really straining the higher register. Now, Antony Vincent, this guy is clearly a sensation, and probably one of the reasons why he Fear Factory, he wouldn't join them is he's probably just too famous. He's this guy is a big name on YouTube, isn't he? I don't know if he'd be interested in joining Fear Factory, or Dino would invite someone like him, but he could do all the songs and he puts his own spin on them. This one, not the best out of the ones we've seen. I'm like Andy, I think the original is a great pop song, isn't it? It's got a bit of an experimental feel to it, almost like art school pop music. But yeah, you're right about that. How would you describe it? That high note synthesizer.
Yeah.
Type. It's almost percussive, isn't it? It sounds like the bleep, doesn't it, of like a supermarket checkout almost, with a but pitched so that it's within key and almost tuneful. But yeah, I not as good as the original, obviously, and that's not the point here, is it? But bit forgettable again, that one for me. I wouldn't bother listening to the whole song.
Okay. So here we go. Cover of, or the Fear Factory version of Blink 182's All the Small Things.
All the small things, true care, true brings. I'll take one left, you're right, best strength. Saying so, I will not go to the lights on. Carry me on. I am.
Okay. It's going so well for a minute there. Andy.
I think that was my favourite so far. I mean, if you didn't know the Blink 182 song and you're a Fear Factory fan, you would know that wasn't, unless you sort of dissected the lyrics intently. That sounded like a Fear Factory verse, didn't it?
Yeah.
I think he should have done the chorus all clean. I think that would have worked better. But just that sort of monosyllabic, no change in pitch throughout that verse was great. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I liked everything
as well. That's a big difference. If you feel like the original song, it's gonna this experiment's gonna work better for me. But that was a good one.
The only thing I didn't like was when it went na 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 na. I just can't see Burton C. Bell or Milo doing that on stage. Just come on, everybody! La 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 la. Let's go! Jump, jump, jump! No, it's just not a Fear Factory. I was expecting maybe to go more of a Fear Factory vibe on it, but they stuck too close to the original for me for that bit. But the verse on it sounded absolutely banging, so I really did like that. So I would want to hear the rest of it just to see where else they went. Kirk?
Yeah, I definitely want to hear the entirety of that. Talk about deliberately going out of a comfort zone to try and do a Fear Factory interpretation. I mean, it's no secret I detest this band. I think they're awful, Blink 182. But this song is dreadful. I fucking hate this song, the original. And he's done a great job there. He's just turned it into a demanufacture type thrusting industrial metal blaster, hasn't he? And the fact that he did that no was hilarious. And I want to continue listening just to see if he's somehow even more creative with some of those moments of vocal harmony.
Okay, the next one, a Taylor Swift song, Anti-Hero. I don't even know if I know this song.
I think you will.
Okay.
Stay where I get older, but just never wiser. Midnights become my afternoons. When my depression works the graveyard shift all of the people, I'm ghosted, stand there in the room. It's me, I'm the problem, it's me. It's see, side, everybody agree.
Okay. Taylor Swift and Anti-Hero version. Andy?
That was probably the one that's least recognisable as the original. And I don't think it works as a Fear Factory style cover. So I wouldn't want to hear any more of that, because not just because I don't like the original, but I do know it, and I like it quite well because you hear it all the time. So the latest one, or one of her latest singles, I just don't think it worked with what the guy's trying to do with this whole sort of little project here. whereas the others have. That one didn't, for me anyway.
Yeah. I think it's interesting he's attempted to go in that route, very high, very pop. When we talk about outside of Burton C. Bell's range, that chorus is definitely outside of Burton C. Bell's range. I didn't mind the verse. I thought the verse was pretty cool. It was when the chorus kicked in, I was like, nah, it's really gone too far away from Fear Factory, and I understood why he's done it for the melody, the clean, but it didn't work for me. So yeah, I wouldn't be interested in hearing a full version of that song. Kirk?
He sounded like Sammy Hagar of Van Halen in the chorus, didn't he? So to me, that just reminds you of what late 80s hard rock, heavy metal sounded like. Certainly the Californian style of metal that was popular, which dominated the global charts, really, didn't it? But yeah, I think the verse was excellent. I really like watching his facial expressions. You know how he gets the aggression because he's not moving his shoulders or anything. So it'd be interesting for him to give to coach people, to give a vocal lesson and say, look, this is how you can do it, staying still, concentrate, and use those expressive face gestures where it looks like you're about to, bite someone's neck in the mode of Dracula. So yeah, I'm just going to continue watching that. This guy's a clear talent, and it reminds me that I need to start watching some of his videos again.
Okay, the next one up we have is Du Hast by Rammstein, which is kind of interesting because obviously they're German industrial metal, which is not that far away from the Fear Factory style in the first place in a lot of ways. So just maybe not as fast, but yeah, let's check it out.
Du hast mich, du hast mich gefragt, du hast mich gefragt und ich hab gleich gesagt.
Wow, didn't get much of a song on that one.
Did he give up on that one?
Maybe it's because it's German. He was like, I can't do any more German, sorry. Okay, so very short little snippet of Du Hast in Fear Factory style. Andy, would you want to hear any more of that?
Yeah, because I mean that would be a faithful cover, and it'd work either way. As you said in the intro, they're not too dissimilar in styles and performance and sort of output of songs. So yeah, I'd like to hear this guy's Fear Factory version of that, because it's a banger anyway, and not too dissimilar to what Fear Factory put out anyway. So yeah, that was a good one.
I would be intrigued to have known what you'd have done over the verse part. That because if he's doing that tempo, trying to do that in a Burton C. Bell vocal, he would have either had to go really clean on it at that speed, or because I don't think he could get the Burton C. Bell bark over that sort of style of vocal, because it wouldn't work with it. So maybe that's why he never did it. Maybe he did record it and goes, you know what, that just doesn't work. I'm going to shorten that down just to the barky over the chorus. So I would have liked to have heard more of it just to see where he went with it on the verses. But Kirk?
Yeah, you're right. They're both artists. We're coming at it from an industrial metal angle. It just shows you how much more aggressive Fear Factory are than every other industrial metal band. Whereas Till Lindemann will go for that shaky baritone gothic type voice, sultry breathing tones, sinister. Burton just goes full on Napalm Death type aggression in his voice, doesn't it? It's got so much vitriol behind it. Didn't hear enough of that. That's probably why I want to listen to it more. For what you said, Dave, how does he handle the other parts of the song? And if anything, that could end up being more difficult to put a Fear Factory stamp on something that musically has some similarities. So I'd want to listen to more just to see what Antony Vincent does with this one.
Okay. Number 8, Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson. Check it out.
We started out friends. It was good, but it was all pretend. Yeah. Since you've been gone, and no, you never hear me say that's how it picture me with you. That's all you never hear me say. But since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time. Stumbling on, yeah. Let's go. Now I get what I want. Since you've been gone.
Okay, I'm going to go first because I really want to hear the rest of that song.
I do.
Andy?
I didn't think that one was going to work. That was really, really good. I mean, especially the first few bars, the first few lines, it was definitely more Fear Factory than Kelly Clarkson. And then on the choruses, I think he's employed a slightly different sort of vocal melody, which again worked really well. So I'd definitely like to hear all of that one. Yeah, that one worked really well when I didn't think it would. So that was great.
True. Kirk, what do you reckon?
You know, we were critical of quite a few songs that we've responded to recently, which were metalcore and very generic.
Critical? Never.
And the clean vocals. This just reminds me, maybe if those metalcore bands were listening to Fear Factory and using that technique that Burton does, which Antony Vincent brings to the fore here, I'd enjoy the music a lot more because it still keeps that aggression. And then you've got the melody, but it never sounds whiny, does it? It never sounds like teenage angst, the white teeth gleaming smile and putting pop punk into heavy music. This is how you do it and still insert melody. So yeah, that one was fantastic, wasn't it? Especially the chorus, and very faithful to Fear Factory, certainly in the drum work. So yeah, that's could be the best one yet, actually.
Okay. Number 9, California Dreaming. This is gonna get a good one. This could be interesting. Let's check it out.
All the leaves are brown, and the sky is green, and the sky is gray. I've been for a walk on a winter's day, California dreaming on such a winter's
Okay, Andy, a bit of California Dreaming for you?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very important song to me. This is probably one of the first sort of songs that I heard that wasn't pop on the radio in the charts, because, rummaging through my mum and dad's sort of vinyl collection, sort of the name Mamas and the Papas, it kind of, this sounds interesting. And this is obviously, I think, the opening track and probably the one that I just played over and over again. So very familiar with it, and that worked really well. The sort of dual vocals. I mean, I think Fear Factory could pull off a cover of that, and it would be absolutely banging. So I think that might be my favourite one so far.
Yeah,
very faithful to the original, and he's most certainly got the Fear Factory elements in this one to a T.
Pretty much agree with everything you said there. I think it's this song has been used in so many videos or films, etc. So when you hear any period piece from the 1960s, 70s, this song appears in it at some point. They always have it in movies. So everyone knows this song really, really well. And I was surprised at how well it works as a Fear Factory track. And I would definitely want to see or listen to that or watch a video of them, Fear Factory, doing it. So yeah, very, very cool. Kirk.
Again, I think Burton C. Bell, it would be really challenging him to do it to the standard Antony Vincent is doing this, but it might give him an idea if he was to hear this to think, hey, actually, I am still capable of these great moments. That reminds me of Obsolete era Fear Factory 1998. I can't remember what was the lead single on that.
Don't know.
Can't remember what it was called. I remember seeing the video on MTV Super Rock, but yeah, it was good how he even on the screen he divided it, didn't he? So you could see the two parts. Yeah. So that was always going to be a difficulty with Fear Factory. If you've got no backing vocalist, some of these things you're not going to be able to do live, are you? So I think he was always careful, Burton, wasn't he, that what he was putting on record he would be able to perform on stage as well, or not in the case of you, Dave, when you give your opinion on Burton C. Bell's live vocal performances.
Okay, number 10, the last one, Blue Monday by New Order. Let's check it out.
How does it feel to treat me like you do? When you lay your hands upon me and shout me who you are.
But that was a very short last bit for that last particular one. So what do we reckon? I'm going to come off the main screen now. Okay, so that last one, Blue Monday, which was very, very short. Andy, thoughts on it?
Again, that's a very important song for me. I bought various 12-inch versions of that, so I absolutely love it. Don't know why, because this is when I was really getting into metal. Whenever this was, Kirk, you'll tell me, late 80s, I think 88, I think was not have even been before. That might have been when it was re-released. But again, it's a perfect Fear Factory song. Like if you didn't know Blue Monday and you're a Fear Factory fan, that could be a Fear Factory song. They do an absolutely fantastic cover of that. And what that guy did was brilliant as well. And then that it's close on between that and Mamas and the Papas as my favourite. I think probably that one. It's best till last. That great selection of videos. That was really enjoyable to cover as well. So cheers for that, Dave. But yeah, that was the best for me, I think.
Okay. I wasn't as big a fan of that one, of the two different styles of vocals. I wish you'd just either gone one way or the other, either gone really heavy, rather than clean and heavy. I didn't get enough of the song to really kind of get me into it. So, and knowing the song, it doesn't really massively change. It's the same from start to finish, vibe-wise. You can probably say that's what the vibe of the whole song is going to be from start to finish. I also remember back in mid-90s when the band Orgy, or early 2000s Orgy, did a cover of it, and that was I actually really liked the Orgy version of Blue Monday, with the heavy guitars and the synth guitars they put onto it. So that's probably sits in the back of my mind when listening to that one. For me, my favourite track they did there was Another One Bites the Dust, closely followed by the California Dreaming one. It was one of those two because they shouldn't have worked as well as they did, and they just were. Actually, since you'd be Gon's in there as well, to be honest. One of those three, but I think it's going to have to be Another One Bites the Dust for me. Was the one that I would love to have seen as a full version. Kirk.
I was going to mention Orgy as well. Yeah, I think it was 98 or 99.
Something like that, yeah.
Korn signed them, didn't they, to their label, and then they had success. I think they might have even had a gold record, and they just disappeared, didn't they, in 2002? You didn't really hear them again. I think
still going.
Yeah, it's just they were like at one point going to be the next big thing, and then it just didn't materialize. And they were well rated though, weren't they? That version at the end, that shows you though, doesn't it? When we interviewed Dino, he says he was living in a Hollywood mansion that they were renting, and Burton C. Bell was one of the tenants in the bed. They treated him like bed sits. And Burton C. Bell didn't have any metal records in his collection. They were all industrial and like a lot of European imports and darkwave and goth music. And Dino bonded with him over that because not only was Dino into grindcore and death metal, he does like certainly some of that industrial and darkwave stuff. So you could imagine Fear Factory covering that, but I suspect that they're probably like us three, or certainly me and Andy, were such big fans of the original, and I'm a big fan of New Order. And I've got most of their albums in my collection that I probably wouldn't touch that because it's such an iconic song and so difficult to do justice to. But Antony Vincent has shown us the way, how to do it in style. And to be honest, Orgy have shown us that it can be done.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you liked our video today, please do like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the video sometime very soon. Take care.